Hello, it's Rashmir here. Leadership is one of those words that causes all kinds of reactions. We all have our assumptions about what it means to lead, who is a leader, what is good leadership, what isn't good leadership. And also, many of the models of leadership in our world may not seem like they represent us or may somehow seem different to what our natural impulses around leadership are. And so in this video, I'm going to explore a little bit some questions around leadership that I hope will help you start to look within and listen to your own call to leadership. So the first question is this: is the impulse to lead really so different from the impulse to create? Is the impulse to lead really so different from the impulse to create? Now, that may seem like a curious question, especially if your historic approach to thinking about leadership or learning about leadership is to go away and study how others have led, what's worked, what hasn't, or to look at perhaps even examples in your own life and work of good and bad leadership. Look, there's always value in doing that, right? Because we can learn so much by what has gone before, what has worked or hasn't in the past. However, this is an incredibly transitionary time for our planet. Many of us that have been working on social change for years have been used to dealing with volatility, with uncertainty, with complexity, but now it's at a level, at a scale, at a pace that maybe is unprecedented, even for those of us that have historically worked on big, global, complex problems. And so this time in our planet's history, in the history of humanity, requires something else from us. And we each must feel into that for ourselves and respond to the call in whatever unique ways we are called to respond. And this is one of the reasons I think it's very interesting to compare leadership and creativity. When we think about creativity in an artist's expression, we don't think about constraining that, right? We look for and listen for the impulse to create. An artist does their best to give expression to what is wanting to be expressed through them. And at this time in humanity's history, surely a leader should also be listening for the impulse to lead, the impulse to create, and to express and move in that direction as purely as they possibly can. Now, if that makes sense to you and resonates with you, then I hope you can also start to feel that it also gives you permission to explore leadership, to play with leadership, to listen to the impulse to lead as it wants to be expressed through you, because you are a unique individual. Your life experiences have been unique. Yes, there may be other people with similar sorts of life experiences, but they won't be exactly the same. And so the uniqueness of your essence and your experience will give rise to a unique expression of leadership. When you start to listen to that call and follow that impulse to lead, to create, that's when you start to step into authentic leadership, authentic to you. And that might be very different from the way I lead. Now, that doesn't mean, again, there aren't things that you can draw on from other people. There aren't maybe some, common elements or capacities, but the specifics in any particular situation or context will depend on you and that impulse that is calling you to step into leadership, into creative possibility. So I will stop there, because hopefully that is already quite a lot to think about, and ask you simply, how is the impulse to lead calling for expression through you?